Hello, what's happening everybody? Welcome to Premier League predictions for game week 14. It's the last weekend before Christmas, so I just want to say quickly, hope you all have a very safe and Merry Christmas. But over the Christmas period, we're always, we've got a festive amount of football, and this weekend's actually fixtures are very difficult to predict. A lot of games, a lot of teams are very even within the league. But starting off with the early kickoff on Saturday, is Palace against Liverpool. It's going to be a tough one, I think. Palace have been in pretty decent form. They haven't lost in the last three. They beat West Brom, they drew against Spurs, they drew against West Ham. Some very good results. Liverpool away from home haven't been fantastic, but I put Liverpool and both teams to score. I think it's a pretty good bet. I think Liverpool do well at Palace. Ever since the Istanbul game, Liverpool have won their majority of the times, but there always seems to be goals, and there always seems to be like a both teams to score and win for Liverpool. So I'm just going to carry on going with that bet. I've gone for a 2-1 win, and for Liverpool to possibly stretch out the Premier League lead now after they beat Spurs. The next game is a very underrated game. It's Southampton against City. We're looking at the odds. Southampton is they're 6-1 to win. I just don't understand it. Like, Southampton are one of the best teams in the league in form right now. They played Arsenal. I think they played brilliantly against Arsenal midweek. City, they can't even beat West Brom at home, and the odds are against them so much. And Saints on an alternative, if Southampton lose by 1 goal, I still win this bet. This is what it means. So the 1.5 means it covers for 1 whole goal. So if they lose 1-0, I've still won this bet. But I do think it's going to be a high scoring game. I do think it could be like a 2-2. I think Southampton's defense can be get at, but I do think they will score. I think they are good, especially at home as well, and they've been pretty good. But they've been even better away, Southampton. They need to be taken seriously. I'm not saying for title contenders, but I'm talking about possibly European football, and a team where you're going to go there, it's going to be very difficult. But I do think they're going to get a result against City. This is probably one of the most confident bets that I have this week. Let me know if you think City's odds are just absolutely crazy. I don't know why they are. I mean, they're 9th in the table. They're not doing fantastic. They've drawn half the games. They've won half of them. I mean, they've only lost 2. But I think there's a possibility even Southampton can even win this game. City just are not, they're not punching as much as you expect them to in the league, and this is why I think Southampton are very good odds to get a result. A very close game again is Everton versus Arsenal. I think this is a very even game, but I have gone for Everton to win. Everton have kind of bounced back into form. I think if I look over the last 3 games, they drew against Burnley, which isn't the best result, but I mean, Burnley are kind of getting back to Burnley. We'll get onto them later. They beat Chelsea and they also beat Everton, and they haven't conceded a goal. But Arsenal have finally scored from open play since the beginning of November, so I do have confidence that they can grab a goal, but I still think they will get beat. But I have gone for both teams to score. I think this could be a very entertaining game. But Everton look like they're back to how they were when they first started playing this season. Very difficult to beat, not conceding too many goals. So it's going to be an interesting one. This one's going to be very difficult, and it really could see if Arsenal lose this game, then let's say Fulham win. It's getting close to relegation, boys. Very close. Moving on to the late game on Saturday, we have Newcastle versus Fulham. It's just a difficult one to predict. I think a draw is very likely. I've gone for Newcastle to win either half because I do think a Newcastle home advantage should work. But I think Fulham have been very good for the money, and I can't really write them off, and that's why I've gone for a draw. Possibly Fulham win the first half, Newcastle might win the second one, but I think it's a good chance of this coming in. It's a bit of a different bet, I thought, but I thought I'd want to throw something different in, and especially for a game like this one. I was looking at the last couple of games, Newcastle got battered by Leeds. But I think I'd expect them to bounce back and possibly maybe even win this game. If I was going to choose a team to win, it would possibly be Newcastle. But Fulham have been very good. They've been very strong and not what we maybe all expected. I thought, they'll be down there with Sheffield United, but they are putting up a fight. And I think this is going to be a tough one for Newcastle. The 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday is Brighton against Sheffield United. Again, not the most exciting game in the world like the Newcastle one, but you'd expect Brighton at home. I mean, they haven't won yet at home. The 2 wins that they had have been away. I think they beat Newcastle and Villa away from home. But at home, they haven't won a game yet, and I think if there was any game which they have to win at home, it's had to be this game. Brighton do need to kind of maybe step it up. They're far too inconsistent. They're not really performing as what many people expected to them. Some people thought they was going to finish in the top half, but they're too inconsistent. They're not that level of quality. Hopefully they can get a result because I've put them on to win. I've also put them on to keep a clean sheet. Sheffield United did score a couple of goals against Man United, but I think Brighton will be a little bit tighter at the back and not as open as what United would be. And they've got a chance. Sheffield United, I think a draw could be a possibility, but I think Brighton will run out as winners. On to possibly the biggest game of the weekend is second against fourth. We have Spurs against Leicester. In this game, I think I'm just going to pull it up real quick. I saw a stat in this game that there's over 2.5 goals in the last 11 games. Yeah, there's been an average of 3.91 goals across the last 11 head-to-heads between these, and 3 of these have featured over 6.5 goals. This is going to be 0-0, isn't it? This has got 0-0 written all over it. You'd expect goals in this game. Both teams are scoring. I think Spurs defensively would be pretty good. But I do think they still showed the title ambitions. I think they showed enough against Liverpool, but unfortunately didn't take the chances to where they can go ahead and beat Leicester. I've gone for another 2.5 goals. This is going to be the one that's going to let me down, I think, because I've gone for what I'd expect from this game, but it's not going to deliver. Hopefully it does, because I can imagine between these two teams, it's going to be a very fascinating game. Moving on to a very big game by club stature, it is Manchester United versus Leeds. Oh, how do you predict this one? This is within predictions. There's a lot of games which kind of throw you off, and this could be a game where it does. I think United at home aren't that strong. Leeds will be up for it after the last game. I've gone for a Leeds at a plus 0.5. I think they'll get a result against Manchester United. I think they'll be up for it more than Man United will. There'll be clash at the Titans this one. Leeds, claiming back. Well, I mean, trying to claim back what they used to have. Trying to be a big club, and I think both teams, both fans are going to be. It's a very exciting game to watch. It's a hard one to predict. Leeds are very unpredictable. Man United at home are not that strong. Away from home might be a bit of a different story. But I can imagine there's a lot of Man United and Leeds fans. So let me know what you guys think of this one. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think it's a pretty safe bet. I think United have been drawing a lot at home against the bigger teams, and I think this is going to be a comfortable result. But it's going to be a tough one. Maybe there's goals because both teams are conceding a lot as well. But I have gone for Leeds to at least get a result. Another derby is West Brom versus Villa. Villa in the last couple of games, there's only been 1 goal in it, which was the last-minute penalty against Wolves. Away from home, though, they are very good. They don't really concede a lot, but West Brom have got the new manager syndrome in Big Sam. Big Sam to get a result against, you could say a high-flying Villa, but Villa are only 11th, but they do have 2 games in hand. If they win those 2 games in hand, they could be second, or maybe second or third or so. So they are still up there. It doesn't look like they're up there due to the position currently. But I think this could be a result where Big Sam comes in, gets a result against Villa, a local derby, and then West Brom can kick on from there. But we'll see. I've gone for an under 2.5 goals. I was thinking of a red card in this game, but I don't really want to risk the red card. I've gone for an under 2.5. I think it'll be another tight one. Possibly 1-0, maybe 0-0. I think both teams will try and cancel each other out. Moving on to Monday, we have Burnley versus Wolves. Last year, both games, home and away, was 1-1, so I'm going for a 1-1. I think Burnley have turned the form around. They look pretty good. And defensively, they're keeping it tight. They're not scoring a lot, and Wolves don't concede a mass amount of goals. Away from home, they have been getting beat 4-0 a few times, but I don't think Burnley are going to win 4-0. If they do, then props to Burnley, because I have it in my bet for them to get something from this game. So, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a tight one to call, but I think a 1-1 seems a fair result. The last game of the weekend is another derby, which is Chelsea versus West Ham. West Ham, very impressive. They're only a position and a point behind Chelsea. If you'd have said that after 13 games, West Ham would have bit your hand off. But to be fair, they deserve it. I think West Ham have been one of the best teams this season. Very good to watch. Very solid team. Not really been battered at all. They've always put in a fight within every game, and they're going to put up one hell of a fight against Chelsea. And this game, we'll see what Chelsea are made of. Obviously the 2 losses against Wolves and Everton away from home, but seeing what they are at home, I've gone for both teams to score. I think this could be 1-1 possibly, but I think if a team's going to win, you have to go Chelsea. But we'll see. I won't be surprised if West Ham do. I'm giving West Ham a lot of props this year. They've been really good. and I think this could be one of the best games of the weekend. But let me know what you guys think of the predictions, guys. Put your predictions down in below. Hope you all have a good Christmas. Hopefully the football entertains you. There will be a video on Boxing Day for the predictions, and I'm not too sure when I will record it. But we'll try and get it in around then. But yeah, make sure you have a safe time, everybody, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.